Hey, friends, welcome in to the Leadership Sandbox. Let me ask you something, leaders. Have you ever told someone on your team, just use your best judgment? Yeah, you probably have. And why do I know that? Because most leaders have. And we say it thinking that we're empowering people, that we're equipping them with our trust to go and do the best job. But, friends, we're not. What we are doing is creating confusion. And today in the sandbox, I'm going to tell you why that one phrase, use your best judgment, is one of the most dangerous instructions you can give your team because it actually does not create ownership. It creates a guessing game. So let's jump into the sandbox. I'm Tammy J. Bond and excited to have you join me today. Let's call it what it is right now, right here, right now. Use your best judgment is simply put leadership avoidance. It sounds good. It sounds like we're equipping people. It sounds like I trust you. But what it really means is I didn't define the standard. I did not define the outcome and the expectation. I did not set the clarity. And I don't want to own the outcome. Ouch. That probably just stung for somebody right there. So I'm going to hand it over, right? And just say, go use your best judgment. I'm releasing myself from it. That's not leadership. That's abdication of authority. And your people get frustrated when that happens, and it causes lack of trust, and it causes confusion, and it causes fear, because when you say this to your team, they don't feel empowered. They start questioning in their mind. They start asking questions in their mind. What does my best mean here? And it also creates, if you give that same instruction to 5 different people who have 5 different levels of what best is, guess what you just did? You just created more confusion. But then they start questioning, well, what's going to get me in trouble? Because the last time I did my best, it was good enough. But the last time Sally did her best, she got reamed for it in a team meeting, or I could hear it through the walls, or they were talking about it at the coffee pot. So we're always wondering, so what does it look like if I get in trouble, and how do I avoid that? And what does this leader actually want from me is another thing that they commonly ask. And now you've got people that are hesitating. You've got inconsistency in your work outputs. You've got people overthinking and overprocessing. And you also have politics happening in the workplace because everybody then is trying to be positioning themselves. So they make the best decision that isn't going to annoy, irritate, or upset you as the leader, because they're trying to read YOU instead of execute the outcome with the clarity that you set. Because, oh, right, you didn't set clarity. You said, just use your best judgment. Here's what the research says. Role clarity research shows that when expectations are unclear, performance drops and stress increases. Just what we don't want to have happen. We've talked about the psychological safety workplace with Amy Edmondson's work in the sandbox before. And what that tells us is that people take risks when the expectations are clear. That powerful word, clear. Clarity is your friend, not when they're vague. When they're vague, they start questioning, they start second guessing and implementing their own thoughts and creating their own storylines. And that gets people often off task, off track, off time, and off budget. Ambiguity does not create empowerment. It creates self-protection. So here's the real problem. You don't have a judgment problem on your team. You have a clarity problem in your leadership, in your communication, and in your delivery of expectations. If 5 people make 5 different decisions, that's not on them. That's on you. YOU, your own universe, right? You're the center of it. And the way that you get around to changing that is taking a look at self first. So we're going to start by replacing use your best judgment with this. Here's what success looks like. Hey, let's talk about what you think the standard is for this. Here's the boundary that I have for you. Here are the guardrails that I have for you on this. So let's talk about how we decide to navigate through to the end result. Let's talk about what does success look like. There's the end result we're going toward. Let's talk about what the timeline is. Let's get some clarity. It's a 2.5 minute conversation. Well, depending on the size of the project, but even just a few questions like, hey, even the statement of, here's when to come back to me if you get stuck, or, hey, I'm curious, what do you think might derail you? Or what resources do you need to accomplish this? Not what help do you need from me? See, that's where leaders also get tripped up. We think we have to let them know, hey, how can I help? Let me know how I can help. No. What resources do you need is a perfect question, and putting the responsibility back on the individual. You're asking them to use their best judgment. Well, how about you equip them with the tools to judge correctly and ask for help when they need to? That's leadership. Clarity does not limit people. It frees them to execute and deliver upon the result that you've co-created together. So here's your challenge in the sandbox today. Where are you being vague? Where have you left people hanging? Where are you asking your team to interpret you instead of execute for you? That someone needs to take a listen to again. Where are you asking your team to interpret you instead of execute for you? Go fix that. Go find that spot, fix that, do that immediately, because that's going to get people into clarity. That's going to help people to come together into one idea of a thought and an outcome. Not that we're boxing people in. I guess I got to say that too, huh? I don't want to box you in or box people into this is the way we do it and we only do it this way. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that have the conversation of all the creative different ways. It doesn't have to be your way, but let them know by asking the right questions what you want, and have them create with you how they're going to get it so that you're agreed on the outcome. That's clarity. If your team is inconsistent, stop asking for better judgment. I hear that a lot. There's inconsistencies. Yes, when you have 5 different people on your team, they're all going to do things a little bit different. And that's okay, so long as the outcome is the excellence of work product that you want. This final story, actually, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. You've heard me talk about the manager that I work with that has been struggling with this one team member for quite a long time, and upper management keeps delaying whether they get on a performance plan or whether or not we start to move them out of the organization. And I was having a coaching conversation last week with this individual, and they're talking about how, yes, this person is finally on a performance plan, but they're still not, even the day after they were given a review and not a glowing review, instead of taking what the leader had given them as an assignment with a very clear what by when layout, because, well, they've been in the sandbox, they've learned the leader gave that, but the individual then went to another person to say, hey, what do you think? Clearly showing they don't trust the leader that they're working for, right? The manager that they're working for. So now we're back to the drawing board of how do we frame that out? Why am I bringing that up? Because this individual is looking for a better answer from somebody else, one that fits their limiting belief about who they are or how they perform. And that's part of what's causing so much problem with their performance. So when inconsistency happens, go back and look at you. Were you consistent? And when you document it, you can say, yes, and this manager to their team member can see where they've been very clear with instruction, but the team member doesn't want to follow it. That's the problem, not because the manager is inconsistent, but because the team member's listening is about a victim mindset, not as victorious. Whole nother episode, but I had to bring that into the sandbox. Like I love the conversations I get to have with this individual because I always find new content to share with you. So make sure that you go back to the drawing board. And sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm having another conversation. Yes, you probably are. Remember the statistic? I believe it's like 38% of your time is working with one underperformer on a team. And that's not including the ripple effect that that team member has on the team, right? So we want to address the underperformance issue and get straight to it and start by delivering better clarity. Be clear, be consistently clear, and it helps to change the conversation. That's how behavior changes. That's how culture stabilizes. That's how leadership works. And friends, I'm going to tell you this, if you want to understand a holistic system to install that kind of clarity in your organization or in your team and you as an individual, I want you to check out Command Leadership Behavior Operating System at bondgroupenterprises.com/command-leadership. Get some information on what that looks like and how you can install your own leadership behavior operating system for you and your team to be consistent, to up level, so we stop people from guessing on what best judgment is and actually give clarity of what expectations and outcomes are. Thanks for joining me in the sandbox today. I always enjoy having these kinds of conversations because I know that leadership isn't something that you're born with. It's something that you grow into. And you took time today to grow into that next level of leadership in the sandbox. And I want to say a big thank you. And also head on over to where you listen to this or where you watch this, whether on YouTube, whether on Apple, Spotify, like, share, comment. Because when you like and you follow us, you then get notified when I have new material coming out every week. And I have some bonus episodes coming in all around community leadership and the importance of community leadership in you and for your team and for your community. It's a high value add, and I'm excited to share that with you in the month of April. So today you just got a little bit more clear in the sandbox, and I want to give you a virtual high five. Say thanks for joining me. Make it a great day, and God bless you.